Hey, Elaine here, and welcome to my channel. If you're under the age of 40, this might not be the video for you, but if you have found yourself asking this lifelong question, or maybe you're set in your ways, that question is, how do I make time when it doesn't seem like there's enough time in the world? I got you covered. Since we're all busy, what I did is I scrounged the depths of YouTube to find the top 3 things, top 3 ways to rethink your time. And I'm going to also show you how I'll plan to add time to create content for this channel. I should give you this disclaimer though. These 3 things are totally, maybe a little bit too obvious, but when you combine the 3 elements together, it's kind of like Captain Planet. It just works. And you're going to see that you're going to have more time than you think. All right, I kind of find it funny that this is the first thing we're going to talk about, but probably one of the most important things to acknowledge, but that is everyone has 168 hours in a week. Ta-da! Life-changing. When you think about those 168 hours, you have to kind of think, what does that look like? I don't know if you are a budgeter like me with your money, but I kind of think of these 168 hours as something that's allotted to you, and you get to decide on how that looks. So what does that look like for you? And it's different for everybody. Like maybe you have kids and it's a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more flexible, but there's certain things, certain necessities that you kind of have to keep in mind, and trying to fill those hours. Are they spent doing the things that you want to do or need to do? Need first before wants. In this case, I need to make sure that my necessities are met. So for me, my hours, since we're talking about hours, I need to make sure that I am sleeping well, I have time to eat, and also I have to make money to survive, right? So those are kind of the big filler components. And then after that, I am filling my time with other elements that will enhance my life. So if I need to go to the gym, or if I need to go for a run, and also devoting some time for the things that I like to do, which is hang out with friends, spend time with family. But you can kind of see where all of those hours are coming into play. So you spend some time looking at your 160 hours and you are still feeling overwhelmed. I get it. And I'm with you. As somebody that is an older millennial, the second thing that I'm going to talk about is kind of a struggle, and that is looking further ahead. So when we think about the first thing we were talking about, which is that you have 168 hours in a week, you have a full-time job, you have a family to feed, you have events to attend, conferences, etc. It's a lot, and it can really, maybe this exercise has kind of gotten you freaked out. Okay, we can calm down. Let's calm down just a little bit. But by taking that and zooming out to see, 1 year of your time, or even like creating like a 2-year roadmap as to what things you know that you're going to accomplish, it's going to kind of create a little bit more space for you to breathe. You can even see essentially maybe seasons where it's not as busy and you can kind of focus on other things to either one, regroup, or two, just like kind of reposition. So we are now at number 3, and this is something that I've been working on for a really long time. So it was kind of refreshing to hear from some of the more professional YouTubers or viral videos that I was watching mention this. And that is intentionally making time for the things that you value. And I'm speaking as somebody that's an older millennial. Maybe I don't know how your household was, but I kind of grew up in a place where everybody, like your parents and your grandparents, kind of said, hey, if you work hard, you study harder, you're going to be successful. And in many cases that might be true, but here we are maybe 20, 25 years later, and we've been doing that. And literally, you're kind of freaking tired, like dang tired. Like all you really want to do is, you're doing all these things and activities, but you just don't want to do anything else. When I look at this component, there's 5 things that I have this Post-it that has these 5 things that it's kind of like a hierarchy of the things that I value. And yours might be a little bit different, or I don't even know if you've done this before, but so my Post-it has 5 things, and the first is my faith. Second, maybe a little bit selfish, but I think it makes sense to me, is prioritizing my well-being and my mental health. Third is maintaining my relationships with people that I love and care about. And fourth is my professional career and like how I make money. And then the 5th thing is basically everything else under the sun. And it's really interesting because I think over time, things that I valued, they've kind of taken a back burner. And so the times when I've really struggled with like relationships or tasks, even like my career, I started recognizing that I wasn't really taking care of my own mental well-being. And so setting actual time for me is, man, it's like changed my life. When we're looking at our allotment of 160 hours in a week, and also looking further ahead, maybe right now you don't have enough time to set aside for yourself. You just got to know when to say no to certain things if it doesn't fit your value chart. The intentionality with your time, with the 168 hours in a week, you can kind of see where your priorities lie. Before I break down how I am envisioning my time being spent on this channel is going to look like, if you find any value in anything that is being discussed, or maybe there's something that is resonating with you, feel free to like, subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment on something that you're working on. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks in advance. The great thing about technology is that there's so many different ways that you can actually look at some data as to like, one, how much sleep you're getting, and also like, let's say you have like a fitness tracker. So I can kind of show you how much time I'm spending on those elements. These are things that are like kind of non-negotiables, right? So when you start looking at your calendar, if you're spending a little bit more time than you should on certain things that might not matter to you, or like maybe just like kind of like mindless things. It's like maybe you need to set some time aside to think about, okay, what does recharging look like for you? Are you giving yourself enough grace to do those things? And then also, we have conflicts. So, for example, here on Sundays, typically this is like kind of like my gym time, but you know what? I just set up some time to meet up for brunch with like some of my friends I haven't seen in a long time. Like if there's activities that kind of come in the way that conflict with, things that are important to my values, I have every right to say no. And there you have it. The top 3 things that you should think about when you are envisioning time, and also a little snippet as to how I am budgeting my time for this channel. It's definitely a work in progress. So if you haven't had a chance, though, this is the second video on this channel, so I will add it to the playlist. But if you haven't seen the previous, you might as well start at the beginning. Thanks.